Before we do jump in to the event guide, I did want to take a moment and recognize a member of this Run Disney community that we lost recently, Erin from the Will Run For podcast. If you also listen to Rise and Run, she was on there from when they did game shows and stuff, and featured many times. Prominent role in the Run Disney community. Always just a light, always happy, always bringing joy to everybody. She battled cancer for about a year, and it's a sad time for many of us in this community. But I know her memory will live on through all of us, and definitely pet all the dogs, do all the things, have the fun. That's what she would want. There are 2 charities that Michael, her husband, has put out there for people to donate to in her honor. I will link to those down below, so if you have the means to do so, please do so. But yeah, our hearts in this Run Disney community are heavy. Definitely as a springtime surprise approaches, as she was at the last 3 of them that we've had, and always at marathon weekend, coming to cheer at other weekends. She just ran New York in November, so big loss. My thoughts are definitely with Michael and her family. Well, hello friends, it's that time again, event guide time for the 2025 Springtime Surprise Weekend. We are just about 2 weeks away from getting that on, and event guide is out. Still some details missing, which we'll go over when we dive into that event guide. But yeah, let's jump right in.
3, 2, 1, go!
Well, hello there, and let's dive into this Springtime Surprise event guide. As you can see here, normal setup page with Adam Ball welcoming us to the weekend. Celebrated charity of the weekend is Make-A-Wish Central and Northern Florida. I believe they've been doing this weekend for at least a few years now. So yeah, normal welcome page. Let's just dive in right into the weekend events. Again, normal setup here, nothing too crazy. All about experiencing your inner hero and the becoming your own hero in your own story. That's kind of the theme of this weekend with the characters involved. Let's start with this important information tab. Not much changes here weekend to weekend. Just kind of standard stuff. You have your flag, weather guidelines. Obviously, green is good. Yellow, less than ideal. Red, potential danger. And black flag usually means the race is going to be significantly shorter or canceled altogether due to weather conditions. We have start group timelines for each weekend. We'll get into that more as we go into each individual race, but all of them together are right here. Event waivers and check-in pass. Now, if you have not already assigned your waiver, please do so. But though, if you're not able to, they will have paper waivers at the Expo before you go to get your bib. So do keep that in mind in case you are unable. But your Expo check-in pass should be available March 31st in your Run Disney account. So keep an eye out for that as we move forward. Then we go into costume guidelines. These haven't changed now for about the last year or so. But as you're finishing up those costumes, make sure to take a look at that. Make sure your costumes follow those guidelines and all that fun stuff. Event reminders, just kind of basic stuff, nothing too crazy here. Wear your bib on the front, blah, blah, blah. If you are new, I definitely suggest to read through this. But if you are, have run races before, this is all kind of standard runner kind of related stuff. So not too much importance there. Flag guidelines. This is if you are going to carry a flag. A lot of, there's a bunch of people that do carry the American flag, or whether it be their home country, they carry that flag as they run. Just make sure they were within these guidelines and you were able to do so. Race day information, again, kind of basic stuff. If you've done a Run Disney weekend, these are all kind of the same similar things that happen weekend to weekend. Gear check. When you pick up your race shirts, you will get a clear bag with a kind of a white box on it. And then when you go on race morning, you go to the gear check area, which there'll be a bunch of box trucks set up on the one side of the reunion area, and that's where gear check is. When you go over there, they'll have Sharpies and extra bags if you forgot your bag to write on your bib number, and then they'll give you a sticker. You place that sticker on the back of your bib, and then they put a sticker on the bag as well, so that kind of helps make sure you get the correct bag back. It's kind of a double check too, so that the sticker has a number on it, plus your bib number's on the bag. So then if, say, the sticker falls off, they still have your bib number. So it kind of works, double checking that way. Food and beverage. There will be food and beverage pre and post race in the reunion area. There's always some food trucks. Run Disney also has a food and bev tent set up. There will be a lost and found area as well in case you do lose something on course or in the race areas. So keep that in mind as well. Race etiquette. This is, again, general runner stuff. Try to, not be in large groups, run 2 by 2 or stuff like that. Don't, stop in front of photographers. Keep moving. Walkers stay to the right. All that kind of stuff. Just general runner information. Again, if you're new, I suggest to read through this. But for those seasoned Run Disney people, you know what's going on. Snack box information. Each race you get a snack box at the finish line. This will kind of tells you what's all in that. Of course, the beloved cheese, and they've been doing chips again. Sometimes they have pretzels. I don't know. They decide to mix it up. As long as the cheese is there, I guess this is a good thing. Usually some sort of M&Ms or Skittles as well. A honey stinger waffle. They have these new bread things that I don't like, but those are in there. Just the stuff like that. Of course, you get water and Powerade at the finish as well. And then on course, the 5K will feature 1 water stop. The 10K will have 3 water stops. The 10 miler will have 6 water and Powerade stops and 1 food stop, which will be sports beans. The 10 miler is the only race that does have Powerade on course. 10K and 5K are water only. So keep that in mind in case you need some sort of electrolytes for those shorter races. Post-race information. This is just for runner tracking. The unofficial results and final results will be done through Track Shack. Tracking is not up just yet, but be sure to check back when that is up. Coast to coast. If you are a coast to coast runner, say you did Disneyland half in end of January, early February, and now you're doing springtime. You make sure when you get your bib, they'll give you a wristband that says you're coast to coast. Also on your check-in pass, it should say that you are coast to coast as well when you get those. And then if you don't have that on there, be sure to check into runner relations at the Expo, and they should be able to get that squared away. And then after the race, there will be you keep your wristband on until after the race. You go to the challenge medal area, and they'll have the coast to coast medals there for you to grab. Advent Health is the medical provider for the weekend. If you need some sort of medical help, even just ice after the race, they are there, all completely free to runners. So definitely take advantage if you need it. Photo Pass. Now, they did start something different with Photo Pass for Princess, and they are continuing it here. When you get your check-in pass, there will be a Photo Pass code that is unique to you as a runner, and you'll have to take that code and enter it into the Photo Pass section on the My Disney Experience app. Now, previously, you would have to enter in a code for each individual race, and it was based on your bib number. No longer that is the case. So now if you're doing the challenge, you will get one code for all 3 races, and you'll enter that in, and then they'll all be loaded in after the races. So kind of simpler, also kind of trying to crack down on people sharing so much of the PhotoPass kind of stuff that we've seen over the years. But yeah, so if you have more questions about PhotoPass, definitely check this out. But PhotoPass has always done a great job at Run Disney races, so definitely take advantage of that. And then just a minivan ad if you want to take a minivan to the race. Going back into weekend events, we again go into the Health and Fitness Expo. This is kind of the big start of the weekend, kind of a big reunion of friends, and it's just kind of kicks off everything. I enjoy it. I always spend at least a few hours, if not longer, at the Expo. But Expo Day 1 will start at 10 a.m. and run till 7. Expo Day 2, which is Friday, will run noon to 7. And Expo Day 3 will run 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you are running a challenge or the 5K, you have to go on Day 1. And then, obviously, if you are running just the 10K or 10 miler, you have to be there before those respective days. There is no event morning pickup except for major emergency, but make sure you are getting those bibs ahead of time and stuff like that. Now, if you are Club Run Disney like myself, they do have early Expo entry. There is no race transportation for that, so you do need to find your own transportation, whether it be a rental car, Uber, Lyft, taxi, minivan. You do need to get your own transportation to get to that early entry for the Expo. Moving along, the virtual queue is in effect as always. This will be found in your My Disney Experience app. There will be a section for virtual queues. You click on that. The queue will go live at 8:30. You can go ahead in a little early. Make sure if you have other people in your group, you want to make sure those other people are added to that group ahead of time. Then once 8:30 comes around, click Join Group, and you should all be loaded in there. You can select up to 6 people to join you per virtual queue slot. And this is only in use on Day 1 of the Expo. And then once 10 o'clock rolls around, they'll start calling those queue numbers for you to get in. Again, we talked about event waivers. That's the same tab as before. Race bib and shirt pickup, 5K and challenge. They need you to be there on Thursday, April 3rd. 10K, you need to be there on the 3rd or the 4th. 10 miler, you can go any of those 3 days at the Expo, but make sure you're getting that stuff at the Expo. Expo transportation, talked a little bit about that, but it will start 30 minutes before Expo Open and run 30 minutes after. So you won't get anything earlier than 9:30 on Day 1, 11:30 on Day 2, and 10:30 on Day 3. Minivan ad again. This is kind of a layout of the whole area here. You have, of course, 3 venues that will be in use at ESPN Wild World Sports. Kind of an outline of what those areas are here. And then we can go into each individual area. The Advent Health Arena is where the official Run Disney merchandise will be. If you're a Club Run Disney Platinum member, you'll have your lounge on the 2nd level, as always. This layout has been the same for several weekends now. If you have done, a Run Disney race in the past couple years, you're used to this. Obviously, if you're new, take a look at these things. If you pre-purchase items, that will also be in here. On Day 1, you will still need that queue to get in here to get your pre-purchased items, so keep that in mind. Outside of that, we'll go into the Athletic Center. Now, this is where the exhibitors will be set up. Normally, ahead of time, we do get a list. We are about 2 weeks out as of this recording, and we do not have that list yet. I would expect that sometime this week, hopefully. Don't have it just yet. But then they'll lay out where each exhibitors are and who is all at the Athletic Center. If runners also have to go into this building to get your race shirts. 10 miler and challenge will be on one side. 5K and 10K on the other. Now, as you do see here, it does say Brooks. This is the first weekend with Brooks involved in the Run Disney weekends. They announced a while back that they would be responsible now for the official race shirts, and they would be doing Run Disney exclusive shoes. We have no details on any of that just yet, which is, again, typical Disney to wait until the last possible minute to get us that information, as, we all wait and see what happens there. The real question is now, if you're familiar with how New Balance used to do Disney shoes, I believe they stopped in 2017, 2018, in that range. But they used to do Run Disney shoes, and back then it was, chaotic to get those as well, and they did a virtual queue just for the shoes. This was before the whole kind of My Disney Experience virtual queue, so it was a little different. But they did do that back then. It's yet to be seen if they will do that here or how they will handle it. I've heard some rumors that some things will be online, some things will be in person. We have no official details yet, so hopefully soon we get some of that. But Brooks will be involved in this weekend, first weekend for that. So it's a big something new and something that a lot of people are excited for. But we have to wait and see what that means. State Farm Fieldhouse. This is where you get your bibs. So you have to go here before you go to get your shirts. So be sure to go here first, because there's a little tab on your bib that you have to pull off to exchange to get your shirts. 5K and 10 miler on one side, challenge on another, 10K in the middle. They'll have character greetings on another side as well. Runner relations, athletes with disabilities, and Run Disney account services will have booths in here as well if you need to get anything there taken care of. And that's the 3 buildings you need to go into for the expo. Kind of wraps up that. And moving along, we have now Princess and Springtime are unique in that they both feature yoga. Springtime Surprise Yoga is actually still available if you want to still join. But that will kick off on Thursday morning at 5 a.m. It's a 1-hour yoga experience. You get a yoga mat and bottled water, and parking is provided. Check-in begins at 4:15 a.m. Parking lot will open at 4 a.m. Security opens at 4 a.m. This is at Hollywood Studios. So, you have that going on. They ask you to be there by 5 or 4:45 for check-in, so they can start promptly at 5. If you are taking a Run Disney transportation option, there is a full list here. This is a little different than normal Run Disney transportation in that there's very specific pickup times because it's a much smaller event. So they ask people to... there's usually only one bus for each resort rather than the several buses you see for race mornings. So, like, for example, the All-Star Resorts, they'll have one bus at 3:30. Animal Kingdom Lodge will have one bus at 3:30. Kidani Village will be at 3:35. Coronado Springs at 3:30. Polynesian 3:30. Shades of Green 3:35. Grand Floridian 3:30. The Fort Wilderness 3:30. Wilderness Lodge 3:40. Contemporary 3:45. Port Orleans 3:30. Old Key West 3:30. Saratoga Springs 3:35. Caribbean Beach 3:30. Riviera 3:35. Swan 3:30. Dolphin 3:35. Swan Reserve 3:40. Yacht Club 3:30. Beach Club 3:35. Boardwalk 3:40. Pop Century 3:30. And Art of Animation 3:30 as well. So that's all laid out there. Look for your specific resort if you are doing yoga. That's it for yoga there. We move on to the 5K. This is Groot or Guardians of the Galaxy themed here. It starts 5 a.m. on April 4th in the Epcot parking lot. Standard 5K procedure here. We have start groups A through F. All of the start groups will open at 3:45, and then they'll each individually close at times after that. And then you have a projected start time for A at 5 o'clock. And then it goes from there with everybody off by 5:56. Obviously, these are approximations. If something needs to change, they'll do it, at the race event. But pretty much they're within these ranges, so just keep that in mind. Gives you an idea of when you'll be starting, depending on the group you are in. Spectator viewing, now 5K, because it's so early and the course is all within Epcot, there's only 2 spots you can spectate, and that would be the start line and the finish line. So spectating a 5K at Disney is not the best event to spectate, but if you are going to, just keep that in mind. Start and finish line is the only area you can do so. Moving along to resort transportation. This does show all the races, but we'll just talk about the 5K for now. Transportation will start at 3 a.m. and run until 5 a.m. to the start line. Back to the resorts after the race, you get 6:30 to 8:30. Race etiquette, event reminders, snack box. That's all the same as before, so just, keep that, in mind. 5K course. Standard Run Disney 5K that we've seen the last few weekends. As always, starting in that Epcot parking lot, taking it around into backstage behind Test Track and between Mission Space. Then you go past Mission Space between Connections and Creation Shop into World Celebration. Now, I do want to note, because I know a lot of people like to know where those real bathrooms are. There is a real bathroom right here between, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here. Right over here before you go on the left as you go in between Connections and Creation. So that is a spot to go to the bathroom. You will continue through World Celebration in towards World Showcase. Now, as you get through here, you'll have another real bathroom at the Odyssey right over there. So keep that in mind if you need a bathroom stop there. Norway will be the next stop for a real bathroom. Then you continue around, and then Germany will have a real bathroom as well over here. Then you'll have your one and only water stop in the America Pavilion. There's also a bathroom back here in America if you need that. Morocco will have a real bathroom. Then you continue around France, and there will be a real bathroom in the UK that you can utilize. And continuing around past Canada, and as you go back in towards World Nature, there will be a bathroom on the left-hand side here as you pass through there. You'll go past the Imagination Pavilion, the Land Pavilion, and back out towards the front around Spaceship Earth. There'll be bathrooms on this left side here of Spaceship Earth, and there'll be bathrooms as you come back around on the other side of Spaceship Earth. So those are your 2 last chances for real bathrooms as you head out to the finish and the parking lot area. That is the Springtime Surprise 5K. Start and staging, all normal procedure for Run Disney races. All kind of lays it out here on the map. Start groups will be up here on the left side. Spectator viewing for the finish will be along this finish chute here. Medals will be back over here as you go through into back towards the reunion area. You'll pick up your post-event transportation on this side. If you do finish, if you're an A or B, even C runner, and you finish before the races or the race has passed this area, because the race does come right through this area here, you'll have to wait until the course is clear before these buses start. They'll have game day photos. That is the step and repeat backdrops that you can take your photos with your medals. Gear bag check pickup will be over there as well. And then food and beverage, of course, in the reunion lot and the entertainment stage up front there. Epcot parking lots. If you're taking a resort bus drop-off, that will be over here in the normal bus drop-off area. You'll have to go to the main entrance of Epcot to go through security, and then back over to the reunion area before you start the race. And then, of course, parking lots are open for those who are driving. Again, PhotoPass, minivans, that's all the same as before. That is the 5K. Moving on to now the Hercules 10K. We'll look at the start groups. Again, pretty much the same here. A little bit longer time to start this race, 6:04. They want everybody off. But again, start groups open at 3:45. Now, they do note here, spectator viewing is, again, start and finish. I will get into a little bit of a non-official spot when we get into the course, but officially, start and finish on the spectating spots for the 10K. Transportation, again, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. to the start line, 6:30 to 9 a.m. at the finish line. A little bit of a longer race, so they give you a little bit more time at the finish there. And then race etiquette, event reminders. Because this race is tracked, you will have race results and runner tracking for the 10K. That will be over here in unofficial race results. Snack box the same. Because this race also is on the road, this race will have road closure. So if you are driving or if you have spectators driving, be sure to take a look at this. They need to be past these points before they close. Obviously, because it's like certain points. Epcot Center Drive West will close at 4:15 and not reopen until 7. So you can't get in through there. World Drive South 3:45 a.m. to 7:30. So just keep note of that if you are driving, that you need to be off those areas by that time. And now for the course itself. Again, start is all the same as always. Starting in that parking lot, except instead of taking a right this time, you're taking a left, and you're on some Epcot roadway going through that toll plaza over there. There's always some characters up in this area as you come through that first mile. Then you'll do a hairpin turn and go up the on-ramp. Here's your first water stop over there. Again, characters all on this point here as well, usually. Do another hairpin turn and make your way back towards Epcot through the bus stop area. This is a popular spectating spot that you'll find is a lot of people hang out because we're in the reunion lot anyways. They'll come over here, spectate in the bus stop area and this parking lot area before you head into Epcot. You'll head into Epcot behind the Land Pavilion. Go then in front before you go, you will pass the Imagination Pavilion as well, and on this right side by the Imagination Pavilion there is a real bathroom. That'll be your first kind of real bathroom stop that you can utilize. And then you can go through. You'll go past the Land Pavilion, past the Seas, through World Celebration, and you'll go towards World Showcase. Again, now as you're coming into World Showcase on this side, you'll have a real bathroom on that right side. You'll go past Canada. You'll go between Canada or the UK and the World Showcase Pavilion. On the left side there will be real bathrooms again. Your water stop will be backstage by the World Showcase Pavilion. You go out backstage past the Skyliner, which is right here, and then around the Epcot area resorts. Now, again, spectators, this is another spectating spot. However, because it's so early, they ask you to be quiet as you're spectating. They don't like the loud cheering in this area because it's 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning, and there are guests who are not running that would like to sleep. So they just ask you to be quiet. But you can be out here in this area all around Yacht Beach and Boardwalk spectating as well. And then Swan and Dolphin over here, that kind of this bridge. There's usually some people out over there. And you'll go back around and through and into World Showcase again through the International Gateway. You'll go past France and Morocco. Again, real bathrooms in Morocco. Past Japan. Water stop in America. Again, real bathrooms in America. You'll pass Italy, Germany. Real bathrooms in Germany. Continuing around China, Norway. Real bathrooms in Norway. Past Mexico. Then past the Odyssey, again, real bathrooms in the Odyssey. Back through that spine as you go head towards World Celebration again. You'll take a right, though, towards Test Track. There will be real bathrooms on that left side over here. And then you'll go between Connections and Creations into World Celebration once again. And past Spaceship Earth. There'll be real bathrooms on both sides of Spaceship Earth that you can utilize around Spaceship Earth and out to the finish. And that is your 10K. Nothing too crazy there. Pretty standard Run Disney 10K. Again, PhotoPass minivans. Nothing crazy there. And then that brings us to our last race of this weekend. The Springtime Surprise 10 Miler. Incredibles themed. Again, starting at 5 a.m. on Sunday, April 6th. Start groups A through F again. They'll all open at 3:45, and this is again a bigger race, a little bit longer, so they'll have all groups off by 6:11 a.m. So keep that in mind, depending on which group you end up in. You won't find officially what group you're in until you get your bib at the Expo. Transportation, again, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. to the start. No monorail transportation for any of these races this weekend. I know for Marathon Weekend and Princess, for Half Marathon Day, they do utilize the monorail for those. However, for Springtime Surprise, they are not utilizing the marathon or the monorail for any of the races. So keep that in mind. If you are at a monorail resort, no monorail transportation for any of the races. And then we go into race etiquette. Again, they have spectator viewing. And I'll go into this when we get into the course itself. They just list the start and finish. It's not totally true, but we'll get into that once we go into that course. Race etiquette, event reminders, tracking, again over here. Snack box, all the same. Road closures, make sure bigger race, more roads. So more roads will be closed if you are driving or if you have spectators driving. Make sure they keep note of when these roads are closing so they are not on those roads or plan to be on those roads at those times. That takes us into the start and staging, all the same, of course, again, photo pass, minivans. But let's go into the course itself. The course itself is I'm pretty sure 99.9% the same as last year's 10-mile course, if you are familiar with Springtime Surprise. Starting in the Epcot parking lot, as always, going back to the right, you'll go past that reunion lot area, past the buses, into Epcot, except unlike the 10K or 5K, or I should say 5K, you'll go underneath Test Track and then past into Mexico instead of coming through World Celebration for that. So you go past Mexico, past Norway, real bathrooms in Norway again, through around World Showcase, Germany, real bathrooms again, America water stop and real bathrooms, Morocco, real bathrooms, past France. You'll be going out between the UK and World Showplace again to exit. There will be real bathrooms in the UK. You go past the Skyliner, then around the boardwalk. Again, spectating spot around the boardwalk. So keep that in mind there. They did move the water stop a bit here. Normally we see that water stop over here by these tennis courts. It is a little sooner this time, but still this is a very tight area. So as you're getting water, this whole path here is a very tight area. So expect congestion. Run Disney knows there's going to be congestion there. Many people who run these races know there's going to be congested here. Keep that in mind. Pack your patience. It's not the best, but it's what they got to do in order to get us to Hollywood Studios there. So, again, water stop right there. And you'll go past the Hollywood Studios bus stops here by mile 3. And then into the front of Hollywood Studios. There will be real bathrooms by the bus stop over here. And then you'll go into Hollywood Studios. And as you go to the front of Hollywood Studios, there are real bathrooms in the front there as well. There's usually a character in this front area that they set up. You'll go around Echo Lake. And then into the Grand Avenue area by Muppets, what soon will be Monstropolis. And into Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge. Then you go around through there. And into Toy Story Land. In Toy Story Land, there'll be real bathrooms in Toy Story Land over there as well. There are also real bathrooms over here before you, like by Star Tours. You can utilize those. Go through Toy Story Land. As you exit Toy Story Land, real bathrooms on the right-hand side over here as well. You go past The Little Mermaid musical underneath that archway through towards the center of the park there where the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is. Typically they have Mickey and Minnie out in the front of that. At least the past few years they have. Who knows what they'll do this year, but just keep that in mind. And then you'll go down Sunset Boulevard towards the Tower of Terror and out backstage. By the Tower of Terror, there will be real bathrooms. Or I should take that back. There'll be real bathrooms back by Fantasmic up here as you run past Fantasmic and out to the roadway, which is where you will spend the last 5+ miles of this course. I don't love that about this course because you get all of your park time done basically within the first 4.5 miles. So there is that. But you'll leave Hollywood Studios, go out on the road, go down the on-ramp here, and continue your way. There'll be your one food stop just before mile 6 here, and you'll do a hairpin turn up the on-ramp and continue your way past the Epcot Toll Plaza over there. Again, there's usually some bands in here, entertainment type stuff, characters. Water stop there, and do another hairpin turn as you make your way back towards Epcot. Again, major spectating spot here between this bus area parking lot. That's always a lot of people there on this day. Water stop backstage as you enter into Epcot. Backstage behind the Land Pavilion, you'll have a real bathroom by the Imagination Pavilion as you enter back into Epcot. Coming through, going just a tad bit into the World Showcase area. Now, they did this last year. Wasn't my favorite part of this course because as you come into this area, you're going to go between these two World Traders shops here. I think one's World Traders, one's World something else. But anyways, you're going to go between this, and this is a very tight pathway in between here where mile 9 is. And you're going to kind of do a quick turn out of there, as you can see here, and back into that World Celebration area. Again, as you come into this area, they'll have a bathroom over here. But as you're coming out, this whole area here can get pretty tight, especially if you're towards the back with more walkers. Can get congested. You're going to come out, go between the Connections and Creation shop once again. You're going to do a little turn towards Guardians and Mission Space. Come out between Mission Space and Test Track. There'll be a real bathroom over there on the right side again, just like all the other races. And then that's your last real bathroom, by the way. And you're going to go out backstage behind Mission Space, Wonders of Life, and Guardians, and out to the finish. So that is your 10-miler. Kind of a weird course with so much road time kind of stuck towards the end, but that's just how they do it. And that takes us to the end. That is all of the Springtime Surprise events. We're going to go back to the Weekend Events tab just real quick, go over some few other things. This is obviously a tab for the featured sponsored, which is Make-A-Wish. Disney Springs always has some savings for runners. Those are all listed here. So, for example, you can get 10% off the boathouse if you wear your medal or show your bib. And then there's a bunch of other restaurants and shopping that you can get discounts at as well. So if you're headed to Disney Springs, keep that in mind. A tab for upcoming race events there. And then these are all your race weekend sponsors. Now, they did add a Brooks tab for this because obviously it's the first weekend for that, as I mentioned. However, there's no information in here as of yet. I don't know if this will change or if this is just how this tab will be. But so far, it just talks about how there'll be limited edition shoe drops, and it's a partnership, and yeah. And then this just takes you to the Brooks website. So, nothing really interesting there as of yet. But again, all the weekend sponsors throughout. But yeah, that is the Springtime Surprise 5K, 10K, 10-miler challenge, all the fun things. Hope to see you there. I will be there for all three, running the challenge. This is since I've done every springtime since they started it, and I hope to continue doing it for the foreseeable future. Fun weekend, last official weekend of the Run Disney season before we kind of take a break, and then it starts all over in September with the Halloween weekend. But very excited to see friends and kind of wrap up before we head into summer and not seeing friends so often. But yeah, I hope to see you there. Hope everybody has a great Run Disney weekend. Always fun, always a blast. Yeah, we'll see you there.